In a harbor town where the air smells of salt and honeyed tea, Lena Brooks was ready for another peaceful morning. Until her tray of lavender scones vanished right before her eyes. No thief, no noise, just the lingering scent of flowers. And something colder, a trace of medicine. But in this town, even the smallest mysteries have a way of revealing the biggest truths about kindness, mistakes, and the quiet justice of good people. Morning came to the harbor in a wash of pearly light, the kind that made the windows of Lena Brooks's tea shop glow like a lighthouse for the sleepy and the hopeful. She eased open the front door with her hip, balancing a tray warm enough to fog the glass. The air held that familiar braid of scents she loved: salt from the docks, early roses from Dottie Bloom's floral buckets next door, and the shallower, simpler aroma of fresh paper from a new roll of pastry bags. Beneath it all was the perfume of her kitchen: honey, vanilla, a shy hint of citrus rind. The lavender, though, today the lavender led the chorus. Well, she murmured to the room as she set the tray on the polished counter, if delight had a smell, this would be it. Earl, the shop cat, lifted his head from a sun stripe on the windowsill. He had a tiny bell on his collar that chimed whenever he stretched. He did now a gentle MRRP, then tucked his white paws neatly under his chest, satisfied that he'd supervised the arrival of the morning's masterpiece. "Don't move," Mia Collins said, appearing from the storeroom with her phone. Her ponytail was a bit askew, as always, like excitement had tugged it loose. "The tray, not you. I want to get a top down for the Morning Post." 5 seconds, Lena said, smoothing the linen around the scones. They were round and rustic, split with careful crags to catch glaze, their tops kissed by a fog of sugar. The lavender was freshly dried from Dottie's last bundle, not too floral, just enough to suggest fields and old Sunday dresses. Then we put them in the case before the first wave comes through. Mia circled. 1, 2, okay. Door open shot, sun flare, perfect. She stepped backward, fingers dancing over her screen. The doorbell jingled as someone passed by outside. Mia glanced up. We should get a caption ready. Maybe lavender for the soul. Or a dozen reasons to. She stopped. Her phone lowered an inch. What? Lena asked. The tray, Mia whispered, blinking. Her voice had the hush of someone staring at a magic tricks after image. Where'd it go? Lena turned. The counter was bare except for the folded linen, a scatter of sugar, and a single crumb the size of a pebble. The tray, big as a serving board and warm as a summer stone, was gone. Earl's bell chimed. Lena's heart did a small, ridiculous hop and then settled into a trot. "Earl," she said, "please tell me you didn't drag a 15-inch tray across the room with your mind." The cat blinked, somehow smug and innocent at once. Mia slipped behind the counter, eyes scanning the floor. "This isn't funny, right? Like a hidden camera prank where you sell my reaction to my enemies." "Sadly, no." Lena crouched. A few more crumbs tracked toward the back hallway. She plucked one up and held it near her nose. Lavender, so bright it was almost silvery. And underneath it, something sharper, metallic in a way that didn't belong in pastry. Not coin metal. Not blood, thank goodness. A sterile tang, faint but insistent. Her stomach pinched in surprise. The scent memory tugged at something. Saline, cotton, tile floors, a white coat's clean sleeve. The back door stood ajar by an inch, the old brass latch soft as an apology. "Okay," Mia said, swiftly practical in crises at least 3 times a week. "We have crumbs. We have an open door. We have a cat who could be a criminal mastermind. I'll call Miles." "Do," Lena said. She breathed again, letting the odd note settle in her mind like a puzzle piece set aside. Miles Harper had a way of peering at the day and finding the stitch that held it together. His bicycle bell would trill half the town awake by 10. Mia darted to the phone. Lena pushed the door open wider and looked down. The alley behind the shop was a sliver of shade between brick walls. The sea's voice reached them from the end of the lane, gulls gossiping over the tide. On the step, in a dark patch of washed stone, lay a trail of crumbs like little islands. Beside them, in the dust, a pattern of small prints. Paw prints, Lena thought. But perhaps not a single animal, The marks were doubled, like one set shadowing another, slightly offset, as if a creature had hopped oddly or been encouraged along by something behind. She crouched and breathed again. Lavender and the medicinal tang. Unexpectedly, the scent comforted her in a strange way. There was a practical explanation to be found. It was simply hiding in the mouth of morning. The bell over the front door chimed, and Lena heard the cheerful thump of a mail bundle on the counter. Special delivery of, oh, now that is a face, Miles said with a grin audible in his voice. Who pilfered your pastries, Brooks? Tray's gone, Mia said, appearing with an anxious sweep of her arm. Vanished. Poof. Patterns don't lie, Miles said, stepping into the back hall. He had a gift for making his slogan sound friendly rather than smug. Let's see what shape this one is. He joined Lena at the threshold, leaned down and sniffed, because around Lena you learned that noses were as useful as eyes. Lavender, he said, plus, what is that? Hospital air. Dog medicine, Mia blurted, and then colored. I don't know. That's what popped into my head. Lena blinked at her. It was oddly close to what Lena had thought, but hadn't wanted to say. It is medical, she agreed. Not human toothpaste or hand sanitizer. Cleaner. If the tray went outside, someone took it quickly. Or something, Miles said, eyeing the prints. He crouched farther, pointing. See that double track? That's not one small dog scurrying. That's two overlapping steps. A leash between? A wheel? No, the spacing. Could be a harness tug. Or Earl going for a walk with a mysterious accomplice, Mia said, which at least made her smile. Rowan's going to want to hear, Lena said, straightening. By the book day. Always my favorite kind, Miles said, the line warm enough that it didn't sound like a joke at Officer Rowan Hale's expense. He tapped his phone, and within minutes Rowan's steady cadence filled the hallway, along with the soft rasp of his notebook cover. You have a missing tray and a collection of hopeful crumbs, Rowan summarized, eyes calm as they traced the step, the alley, the bit of torn ribbon near the edge of the doormat, Dottie's ribbon, Lena noted immediately, pale blue with a tiny print of daisies. Next door shop was always shedding ribbon like confetti. Let's keep this by the book. We'll note the time, take photographs, Mia, if you don't mind, and secure the back door. Did anyone see anything unusual? Dottie Bloom could always be conjured by a mystery. She arrived as if she'd been perched behind the door since dawn, her arms full of fresh paper, her hair corralled in a scarf that matched the ribbon exactly. I saw a shadowy teen lurking by the alley last night, she proclaimed, breathless and pleased. Black hoodie. He had skulking energy. My hydrangeas trembled. Miles's eyebrows made a small climb. Skulking energy, Rowan repeated without inflection, pen poised. Or, Dottie continued blithely, it was my reflection in the bakery window as I checked the tint. My hydrangeas did look rather dramatic in the streetlight. There, a red herring with its own sense of humor, dangling cheerfully. Lena smiled. We'll keep both leads. Mia, photo of the ribbon. Mia clicked. On it. Who delivered the scones? Rowan asked, scanning his notes. Janet Moore, Lena said. She's been burning the candle at both ends lately. Baxter's been sick, her dog. She mentioned new meds. She may have sent Tyler Briggs to drop the tray if she ran behind. Miles nodded. Tyler came through this morning. His bag smelled faintly like, well, and I'm missing the bakery's paper delivery slip from my pouch. Could have fallen out when I leaned my bike. Or someone borrowed it. Let me talk to Janet first, Lena said. It felt like a day that wanted gentleness, not an alarm. Rowan nodded, trusting her instincts the way he did when the stakes sat in that warm, domestic middle ground where community mattered more than rules. I'll follow. Keep notes. Let's not assume theft until we must. Lena tied her apron behind her back, a steady, practical bow, and crossed the street to the bakery. The little bell there had a more flustered ring than her own. Janet looked up from behind a glass case that should have been crowded with scones, but showed a bare patch like a missing tooth. Her hair frizzed gently at her temples, as if worry had stood it on end overnight. Oh, Lena, I heard about the tray. I'm so sorry, she said immediately. I left it to cool near the back window, just like always. Baxter kept whining from the other room, and the timer was singing, and the phone rang. I turned around, gone. You didn't see anyone take it? I'm sure it was my fault, Janet said, wringing her flour-dusted hands. Tyler stopped to pick up Mrs. Keene's order. Peanut, the terrier he walks, went mad for the air near the door. Sniff, sneeze, sneeze, sneeze. It was almost comical if I hadn't been frazzled. I told him to go on. I'd have the scone tray delivered, but then, where's Baxter? Lena asked gently. At home, napping. Poor old gentleman. New antibiotics. He hates them unless I mash them in something, and even then he looks betrayed. Lena's mind arranged the morning's scents into a neat row. Lavender, ribbon paper, a sterile tang like clinic drawers. Janet's eyes were tired. A mistake could hide in tiredness like a mouse in a bread box. I'll check in with Tyler, Lena said, giving Janet's arm a comforting squeeze. We'll sort it. No one's mad. Janet's shoulders loosened as if a corset string had been cut. You're a saint. I'm a shopkeeper who's seen stranger things, Lena said, and meant it. Down on Harbor Street, the sea tugged at the town with its usual insistence. Tyler Briggs was easy to spot, tall, kind-eyed, perpetually apologetic, the town's unofficial dog uncle. He held 2 leashes in one hand and a paper bag in the other, from which a long snout and a curious black nose emerged like a marionette. Miss Brooks, he said, flushing beneath his ball cap as she approached. If this is about the tray, I swear I can explain. I was going to bring it straight back, but Peanut here started sneezing like he'd stuck his face in pepper, and the tray smelled odd. Lavender and something else, Lena said. Relief loosened his jaw. Exactly. I don't know. I panicked. I didn't want any dogs getting into it. So I took the tray and went straight to the vet clinic. Nancy said she'd take a look and hold it. I left it there. Lena's breath lifted. A dozen small anxieties had been chasing each other through her mind, but this explained several with a single sentence. You did the right thing, she said. You probably kept someone's labradoodle from an upset stomach. Tyler's shoulders dropped an inch. I should be better at not looking guilty, he said ruefully. It's just my personality. I once apologized to a parking meter. Parking meters deserve it, Mia said, catching up with Miles behind Lena. They lurk, waiting to pounce. Miles grinned. Patterns don't lie, and parking meters exhibit predatory behavior. Let's visit Nancy, Lena said. The clinic smelled exactly as the morning had hinted, clean and efficient, and a little like rain on stone. Nancy Lowell, silver blonde and calm, was behind the desk with a clipboard and a kindness that felt like a soft wool blanket. The famous tray, she said, amused, when Lena explained. I took a look. I didn't, bite into any, though the temptation was there. But I did run a quick test strip on a smear. It showed a trace of something that read like doxycycline. That's a common dog antibiotic. Mia made a small squeak. Dog medicine in scones? Nancy lifted a palm. Not necessarily intentionally. More like a scent transfer or a tiny contamination. I noticed the lavender had that crisp edge I sometimes get when I open a new bottle of disinfectant wipes. It could be as simple as someone using bottles with similar droppers and not labeling well. Janet mentioned new meds for Baxter, Lena said quietly. Nancy's face softened. Janet is doing her best. She's been keeping up that bakery almost single-handed, and caring is its own full-time job. Don't worry, we set the tray aside. No one's eaten any. I figured Lena would want to know before the rumor mill turned it into a poison plot. Dottie, who had followed them as if she belonged to every scene, clucked her tongue. Perish the thought, she said. It's a mix-up at worst. Unless the shadowy teen did it. Which may have been my reflection. I was wearing a dramatic scarf. The smell, Lena said, half to herself, and Nancy smiled at her professional satisfaction. Your nose is legendary, Nancy said. If you're curious about why the scents overlap, I can show you something. She reached under the counter and brought up 2 small bottles, nearly identical on first glance, brown glass, black caps. One's lavender essential oil, the other's an antibiotic suspension. Both have a component that's cousin to linalool. The human nose calls both sharp clean floral, if you aren't paying attention. If you kept them in the same cabinet, in low light, when you're exhausted and your dog is whining. You might slip and grab the wrong one, Lena finished, heart folding around a knot of empathy. She pictured Janet, timer ringing, phone buzzing, Baxter's old man whine, and a dozen tasks demanding hands she didn't have. The town asked for so much from a person like that. And yet it also gave back when the moment came. It would now. Rowan had arrived, a quiet anchor in the hum of conversation. He examined the tray. They'd stowed it safely in a back office and nodded. "We'll make a note that no malicious intent is suspected," he said. "Let's keep this by the book. We have paw prints, a missing slip, an open door, a ribbon at the threshold, and a known chain of custody. It's a morning in our town." "A morning with a story," Mia said, fingers already moving to craft a softer public post. "We can remind folks to label their bottles and hug their bakers." Back at the tea shop, the sun had climbed high enough to throw a path of light across the floorboards all the way to the counter. Lena filled the kettle and weighed out a classic black that handled milk like a champ. She baked when she was worried and boiled water when she needed the world to feel ordered again. The scones she slid into the oven were a simpler batch, lemon zest and a whisper of vanilla, safe and shining. "Janet," she said when the baker came through the door, eyes wide as saucers, "come sit." "I have tea." Mia and Miles will pour moral support. Janet's apology tumbled over itself like laundry from a too-full basket. Lena caught it, folded it neatly, and set it aside. "You had 2 bottles in the same cabinet," she said gently. "That's the kind of mistake exhausted people make. Tyler did a good thing. Nancy kept us safe. No one is harmed. We bake another tray. We take your labels home and make them bigger." Janet's hands trembled when she held the cup. "I'm mortified," she said, then laughed shakily at her choice of word in a tea shop. "Baxter hates the smell of lavender. He always has. So of course I used lavender today." "You used it because your friends love it," Lena said. "You were trying to make something kind. And kindness is messy sometimes." Miles leaned on the counter, making patterns with sugar he'd spilled. "Patterns don't lie, and the pattern here is that when one of us wobbles, the others steady the stool." "That's not quite your catchphrase," Mia said lightly. "It is in community outreach mode," Miles said. Rowan, flipping his notebook closed, smiled. "I won't write that down." The bell tinkled, and Dottie floated in with an armful of flowers as grand as a parade marshal's baton. "I brought hydrangeas to testify to my innocence," she announced, then softened. "But really for your windows. A bakery deserves flowers that look like loaves of clouds." "They do," Lena said, and felt that gentle tide of relief roll through the room. People perched on stools. Earl hopped onto his favorite empty box behind the counter and tucked into a ball, bell tucked under his chin, as if he'd concluded that justice had been served. The lemon scones emerged like little suns. Lena spread a glaze thin as glass over their tops and listened to the room become itself again. The murmur, the laugh, the low suggestions of belonging. It was the sound she always imagined a harbor would make if it could speak. "Welcome, welcome back, welcome in." "Should we do a small post about labeling?" Mia asked, thumbs still sparking across her phone. "Supportive, no naming names?" "Do," Lena said. "Keep it gentle. No mystery-solved trumpet blast. Just a soft lesson. And maybe a photo of Earl pretending he solved it." "He did, in a way," Dottie said. "His MRRP means check the bottles." "His MRRP means feed me," Miles countered. "It's multilingual," Mia said. They had customers all morning, in a sweet rhythm of pour, laugh, comfort. Elsie Parker popped in to ask about cups for Saturday's Seaside Book Fair, and left with a bag of lemon scones and the promise of a tea sampler. Agatha Reed, the retired archivist whose presence always made the room feel somehow more anchored in time, arrived with her usual quiet. She ordered a black tea with a dot of honey and sat by the window, pencil resting against her notebook like an old friend. When the lunchtime lull stretched into a sunny yawn, Lena carried 2 cups to Agatha's table. "I have questions about scents," she said, and Agatha's eyes lit with the spark of a librarian receiving a new research query. "Scents have stories," Agatha said. "What's yours today?" They talked about lavender farms along the coast decades ago, about apothecaries that had lined the boardwalk when Agatha was a girl, about the elegance of old labels, hand-lettered with swoops and small, careful serifs. Agatha told a story about a summer when her cousins had confused turpentine with spirits of lemon and the porch had smelled like a cabinet shop for a week. "It happens," she said, "especially when love is involved and people are doing too many things at once." By late afternoon, the town's energy had shifted to that gentle expectancy that belongs to places that know the sea will keep coming and going long after the stores close. Lena wiped down the counter, warmed the last pot for the late stragglers, and felt a steady, simple peace. The day had tried to be complicated and had settled for being kind. "Okay," Mia said, popping back out of the storeroom with her laptop. "The post is up, a labeling love note from your friendly tea shop. When in doubt, big letters, separate shelves, and plenty of rest." Earl's photo got 3 heart eye emojis in the first minute. "Earl is the backbone of our engagement strategy," Miles said. The door opened again. Tyler stuck his head in, sheepish. "I brought the tray back," he said. Nancy wiped it down with something clinic official. "It's in my car." Also, she sent biscuits for Baxter to apologize to Janet for all the worry. "I think we're all apologizing to each other in a circle." "That's how you know you live in a good town," Lena said. "Bring the tray by. We'll give you some lemon scones for the road." "Peanut will insist," Tyler said, brightening. "And I didn't mean to set off a morning detective story." "It's what we do," Mia said happily. "Tell your story, make it friend-shaped, and learn something. It's our brand." Rowan reappeared at the end of day with a small smile and a nod. "All tidy," he said. "No report beyond human and harmless. Let's keep it by the book and maybe also by the cook." "Did you just make a pun?" Miles asked, scandalized. "Accidentally," Rowan admitted. "Don't make me write myself a citation." They laughed, and it was the laughter of a place that knew how to hold its people. Evening brushed the windows with rose and gold. The kettle whispered like a confidant. Dottie, whose official business had ended an hour before, lingered at the counter and told Lena about an upcoming floral workshop. Elsie sent a message about table layouts for the book fair, and Lena promised extra cream pitchers. It was the kind of ordinary planning that made Lena happiest, proof that tomorrow had shape and this little shop was part of it. They had a tea time tradition at the end of days like this, a ritual as much for themselves as for the handful of customers who always seemed to be around at closing. Lena laid out cups and stirred honey into the last pot. They sat on mismatched stools, Mia cross-legged, Miles perched like a bird ready to lift off, Rowan with the quiet posture of someone who'd spent his day at the seams of small troubles and could finally let his shoulders fall. Earl hopped to the counter box and tucked himself in, Belle a tiny star in the lamplight. To mistakes made with love, Dottie proposed, holding up her cup. And to labeling everything 3 times. To dogs who sneeze at the right moment, Mia added. To a town that catches each other before we drop, Miles said. Patterns don't lie, Lena said, smiling, and then lifted her own cup. Let's brew the facts. Today's facts say we did fine. They drink. The lemon was bright, the room warm, the harbor outside a lullaby of gulls and water on pilings. Agatha set down her empty cup and reached into her tote. Before I forget, she said, though Agatha never forgot, something came in a donation box at the library this morning. I set it aside because it felt like it had your name on it, Lena. And then I realized it literally did. She slid a small envelope across the counter. It had the softness of paper that had been handled by careful hands for decades. The ink was brown gone black, the script old-fashioned and steady as a metronome. To Miss Eleanor Brooks, Lena read aloud. The name spread a tender ache through her chest. 1973. My grandmother, she said, reverent and a little breathless. She turned the envelope gently, as if it might startle. No return address. No stamp. Perhaps it had been hand-delivered to a different life and never opened. The wax seal had once been pressed with a simple letter E. Time had nibbled the edges. Be a letter that got lost in a book that someone donated, Agatha said softly. Or tucked into a folder of recipes. Old paper makes nests in strange places. Open it, Mia urged, then bit her lip. I mean, if you want to. If it's for family eyes only, I can leave. Or pretend to go. but my curiosity will hum like a microwave. Tomorrow, Lena said, running her finger along the seam. The decision surprised her and felt right. The day had already served one mystery and its gentle resolution. Another could wait. The town could sleep and wake and be itself again. I want to brew the good tea first and sit properly. I want to call my dad. The facts deserve a quiet table. Agatha's smile was small and approving. Some stories like to arrive on the second day, she said. They have better manners. They lingered in the soft, lemon-honeyed afterglow of the ritual. The harbor lights blinked on one by one, little fireflies tethered to poles. The last customers drifted out with waves and thanks. The sign in the window turned from open to see you soon. Earl stretched, his tiny bell chiming, and leapt down to circle Lena's ankles as if he could walk her to the letter and back. They tidied in companionable order. Mia wiped down tables with exaggerated care, humming a tune stuck in her head from a video she'd edited. Miles sorted the last envelopes in his bag, then groaned with relief when he discovered the missing bakery delivery slip tucked in a side pocket he never used. Mystery of the missing slip solved, he announced. It was the do not use pocket. Classic culprit. We'll add it to the case file under Miles's pockets, a retrospective, Lena said. The pattern, Miles said solemnly, is that I require zippered pouches. Let's keep this by the book and buy you a new bag, Rowan said dryly, which made them all laugh again. When the shop finally exhaled and let evening settle into its shoulders, Lena walked Agatha to the door. Thank you, she said, touching the envelope as if it might warm under her hand. For this. For knowing it should be mine. Stories find their people, Agatha said. You're just good at hearing them knock. On the walk back to the counter, Lena paused to look at her shop as if she'd never seen it. The familiar jars, the chalkboard with its cheerful swirls of handwriting, the gleam of the kettle under its lamp. The place held more than steam and ceramic. It held the town's small proofs that goodness could be practical, that care didn't need trumpets to be grand, that a morning could go crooked and still end straight. She tucked the envelope into the drawer beneath the counter with the linen napkins, where it would be safe until she was ready to open it. The linen smelled faintly of lavender from a dozen washings. She smiled at the irony, then at the fondness under it. Tomorrow, she thought. Tomorrow, lemon scones baked, lavender returned to the jar for a week. Baxter visited with a biscuit shaped like a bone. Janet teased until her laugh returned to its regular bell-like ring. Tomorrow, she would brew the good tea and read her grandmother's name again, and let whatever words lay inside lift their heads into the light. Ready? Miles asked, shrugging into his jacket. I can walk you as far as the corner if you want to stare at the sea with company. I'm going to linger, Lena said. Sometimes the room feels different when it's just me and Earl, and I like to listen to that. Patterns don't lie, he said, tapping the door frame like a superstition. The pattern says you'll lock up and then text me something profound about steam. Probably, she admitted, and grinned when he saluted. Mia blew a kiss at the cat, who tolerated it like a monarch. Dottie pressed a bloom into Lena's hand, a little hydrangea puffed the size of a teacup, and promised to bring labels with printed skull and crossbones for Janet's medicine cabinet, but in a cute way. Rowan opened the door for them all and then, before he left, turned back. For the record, he said, savoring the rare chance to be sly, today's pun will not go in any official report. Good, Lena said. We'll keep it in this one. She tapped her chest. Filed under relief. They left. The street returned to its soft shush. Lena closed the door and clicked the lock. Earl did a slow circle around her feet like the spiral on a shell, and then drifted toward his box, leapt, settled, and tucked his nose under his paw. She did the last little tasks, stacked cups, reset the chalkboard to a clean slate for morning, refilled the sugar. The envelope lay quiet in the drawer like a small warm stone. When she finally sat at the counter with her own last cup of tea, the window showed the harbor at rest. The stars came on in the slice of sky between buildings. Across the street, the bakery's windows glowed softer than earlier. She could see Janet moving in the back, probably setting a jar of pills on a different shelf than the oils. Lena lifted her cup and let the lemon breathe up to her. To mistakes made with love, she said aloud into the empty shop, because sometimes you needed to hear kindness in your own voice. To neighbors who notice, to trays rescued and trays replaced, to old letters and new mornings, Earl's bell chimed, a tiny, companionable sound. And to brewing the facts, she added, smiling, as many days as it takes. Outside, the sea kept its steady conversation with the shore, whispering and returning, whispering and returning. Inside, the shop held its quiet like a promise. And tucked away with the linen, safe for tomorrow, waited a letter with her grandmother's name, written in a hand that spanned years like a bridge made of ink. If you're enjoying this cozy little mystery, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe. It helps our small storytelling corner stay warm and growing. Now, let's deep into the next chapter together.